here we are, episode 7. This episode is called Rain or Shine. Felt like mostly rain, if I'm honest. Let's jump right in. Lexi's face in this scene is how I felt watching the entirety of this episode.
Yeah.
So right at the top, we realize we're getting an Ali flashback, which is wonderful. I could have used this, like, in any of the other seasons prior to this. Yeah, I'm glad we got it. And listen, I fucking love Colman Domingo, but we're back to Ali's negative past that he has alluded to, which my thought here was like, Colman Domingo did such an excellent job of, in the previous seasons and in the extra episodes, telling this very sad story of how Ali came to be. And I'm like, it was really effective the way he acted it and the way it was written previously. I don't know that it was really painful to watch. And it sort of like dilutes how good it was before almost. I don't know.
I think also coming after Alamo's backstory last week, which again was like maybe the most effective thing we've seen this season. So it felt like diminishing returns in the sense of like, okay, we get it. You're an addict and all these people keep dying. I don't know. Yeah. It just was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Also, Natasha Lyonne was there for some reason, playing a complete caricature of
herself in just Natasha Lyonne as a hooker.
The plucky gravel voice sex worker with the wrist brace, which is like a character somebody plays in an improv show and gets edited really quickly because everyone's like, no. Natasha Lyonne's here. She and Ali are hanging out. They're smoking crack cocaine together and hooking up. Meanwhile, back at home, as was alluded to in previous seasons when Ali was talking about this, his wife and kids are at home being very disappointed in what he's and abandoned. This was really hard to watch because we know Ali to be such a kind of like sweet, sensitive character, but he has talked about this. He had a violent past. He was addicted to drugs and his home life was rough. And so there's this horrible fight scene that, mercifully we don't see, but we can hear, and so can these two little girls, which is why Ali has a strained relationship with his daughters to this day.
I also needed to note, I think in front of Ali, he had one of the Corningware dishes that, like, I grew up with that I have in my kitchen.
Yes.
So it was like,
yes.
I just felt at home a little bit. I was like,
yeah, I mean, as usual, the set design, the costuming, everything other than the writing on this show is like top tier. But yeah, so the daughters are obviously hearing this. It's very painful and awful. We see Ali actually watching Muhammad Ali, the boxer, so we can like place this in, Muhammad Ali's boxing heyday.
Muhammad Ali!
Yes. Yes. Natasha Lyonne is in bed with a crack pipe going boom, 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 pow, punchy punch. Yeah. So anyway, they're both high on crack cocaine, and he's like pretending to be Muhammad Ali in the hotel room. I didn't realize this. Ali's name is Ali Muhammad, which is not his birth name. His birth name, I believe, from a previous episode is Martin. So we're getting some information here. I did not realize that his full name until I Googled it. The character's name is Ali Muhammad. So clearly it was a reference to Muhammad Ali, the boxer. Yeah, so he's like play boxing and then ends up, I'm assuming, having some sort of heart episode due to all of the crack cocaine because we see that he's got an incision on his chest and he's in the hospital. And he has a breakdown because they're trying to give him morphine. And I sort of read this as like having a heart attack and being in the hospital was kind of like his wake up call to stop doing drugs. And so he kind of breaks down when they give him morphine because I read that as like, I deserve to feel this pain.
Right.
Because of all the pain I caused.
It was just such a quick switch up from what was such a like long-standing addiction for him to, because I just think for most anyone we know going through addiction, even hell, us with like our phones, you're not able to just cut and dry and do that immediately. So I think there was a little bit that I was like, this feels like very conveniently wrapped up that he's able to just stop, going after crack cocaine, which is a very nasty, one of the nastier addictions that you can get to because it can take you to such a dark place. So I think it was just a little too neatly wrapped up.
I did have the thought while this was going on. I was like, if this is leading toward Ali relapsing, then like I'm so done with this fucking show. Like I can't. I really can't. More so, it kind of seems like maybe they're setting up that he is going to be one of the characters that might not survive this season.
And he's like elevating this dialogue in a way that I'm like, God, this is why you're one of our greatest actors, because you actually make me sort of believe it, understand. I'm like, I hate it. I
know. I'm reading a lot into this performance because of how good his acting performance is, and not because of the script and the material. So we see that Ali decides to turn his life around by helping other people get out of the cycle of addiction by being a sponsor. And this is kind of just a really sad sort of montage of like people he's helped who don't end up making it for whatever reason. The reason usually being addiction. He's trying to heal his past. He tends to tell people this line that like, I promise you the future's going to be bright, but he ends up watching a lot of these people pass. And Rue's narration says even though he lost some battles, Ali knew he was doing good in this world. So he's still, you know, motivated to continue even though it's not working out. It's hard to get people out of addiction. I mean...
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Also, I have to say go back. Please don't use my headshot at my funeral. Please
don't
my headshot. That really took me out. I was like, don't...
It does look like a headshot. It is. It's probably that actor's headshot.
Yeah, so... If you're going through that, like, I have much hotter photos that I've taken. Please don't use my headshot at my funeral. That's, like, actually the worst that you could be using. Like, don't use the headshots.
As usual, I get really annoyed when shows acknowledge the pandemic because I'm like, I'm sorry. I was supposed to think that this entire show was taking place in reality?
Especially before, again, this is not a show that exists in reality, so why are we trying to place it there? We don't need it.
I know. I felt the same way about it, and just like that. I was like, I don't need Carrie Bradshaw talking to me about the pandemic. Like, that's not, none of this, nobody was going around being like, oh God, the realism of and just like that, or Euphoria. I hope that they address modern day global health crises so that I really know that we're rooted in the present.
I can't wait to hear what Euphoria has to say about hantavirus.
Yes, seriously. Anyway, so they make the point that, like, because of COVID, people couldn't go to meetings. I'm sure this was an incredibly difficult time if you were somebody who was dealing with addiction or in recovery. He's still making it a point to, like, really be in touch with his sponsees and is still telling them that the future will be bright. However, he loses a number of them, and he has this sort of memorial book that he keeps track of their names and the day that they passed. I did actually, like, pause on each individual page of this and see if there were any names that we would have recognized, because one of the theories that I keep seeing on social media is that Rue is already dead and this whole thing is just like her telling it from the past. There's been a lot of theories. Like, one of them is like Bishop is actually Alamo, because Alamo's backstory seemed to fit Bishop more. And I was like, do you mean in like a Fight Club way? Like it's a split personality? I don't know what you mean.
Also, I will say, it just felt like a lot of death to like make you feel something. I think this felt like, to me, I was like, this felt excessive.
I mean, the show just does a lot of stuff for shock value, again, which is why, like, I don't need you to root me in the reality of the pandemic, because like, look at the rest of this fucking show. We cut back to Alamo, and Big Eddie is out of the hospital. He survived. This was just so bananas, though. Alamo is looking at his like scars with a magnifying glass. I'm not going to show the gory details, but Big Eddie has ended up with a permanent colostomy bag because of what he went through.
And also, one of our amazing listeners pointed out the glasses references from, because he was the character on a different world.
Yes. We are several episodes delayed in acknowledging that, but yes. Big Eddie's glasses are a reference to that character, which is actually a very, very fun nod for this otherwise irritating show. So Big Eddie is going to have a colostomy bag for the rest of his life. He's still walking with a walker, and yet Alamo is showing absolutely no mercy because he still believes that Big Eddie fucked up by letting them go in the safe instead of allowing them to blow his genitals off.
I mean, you could say Alamo's in his Reputation era, or he's lived his entire life in his Reputation era, and I think that, you know, he's like, look what you made me do. I'm going to poke with your colostomy bag. Can't pick up the phone right now, because why? Alamo's about to kill somebody.
We digress. Anyway, Alamo is still punishing Big Eddie and is sending him on this on the road trip of a lifetime in the Gold Rush medical ambulance to get 2 BBLs and 80 kilos of fentanyl. He's like, okay, cool, I'll just like take one of our guys. And he's like, nope, you're taking Lori's boys. And he said, why the fuck would I be taking one of Lori's boys? So here's what you see when you're entering hell.
Yeah.
These two fucking guys. And it turns out that obviously the DEA is listening. I'm not sure how, because Rue is no longer here, so they must have, you know, with the intel that they had, they must have found a way to bug this truck.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or ambulance, rather. Even though the ambulance kind of looks like an enterprise rental that a delivery driver uses.
Well, it's the one that, like, when they say, yeah, they're coming to, like, give you candy, like, don't go up to it. This is like, if this is taking me to a hospital, I'm not getting inside. You're not ending up in a hospital.
Will die on the street. Thank you very much. So the DEA is listening in their Hawaiian shirts. Turns out Mitch is going to be the one riding with Big Eddie, and there's Mitch looking fabulous as ever. Rue is on Lexi's couch reading the Bible. How is Rue, whose entire life is chaos, really sitting down and like focusing on reading the Bible? You cannot tell me that she is.
Well, no, because she keeps interrupting Lexi. She's not, because that's why she keeps talking to Lexi and interfering in her writing. It's like, it's the thing when someone, like, they find spirituality, they find religion, they make it everybody's problem.
Yes.
And it's suddenly, you don't want it to be, but suddenly, Lexi in this scene, I was like, oh God, this is the worst. When you're trying to be creative, you're trying to be writing, and then someone is constantly interrupting the flow. Again, I know this is also me when I meet up with friends to write, because also we know, unwritten rule, the first 30 minutes of meeting up in person is yapping. And then it's
of course
writing. But
yeah.
Rue is interrupting her flow.
And so Rue is trying to explain to Lexi, like, what's been going on her path to spirituality. And she's like, God could see that I was giving up. And then he, like, set this tree on fire. And Lexi's not buying it. She's like, yeah, so he set an endangered tree on fire to talk to you. But yeah, Lexi's not buying it. It seems like Rue wants to tell people what's been going on with her. Like, I don't know if it's because she's feeling nervous about going through with this last step of the plan with the DEA, but she starts in this episode just sort of telling people what's actually been happening. And Lexi is like, I'm sorry, Rue, like, you're like the woman who cried chaos. Like, I don't believe you. And she's like, I've been working with Nazis. And then she's like, I'm also working with the Drug Enforcement Administration. And Lexi is like, you need to lie down. You're losing your mind. And also it's clear that you're using drugs again, because Lexi sees this as all as like, you're being delusional. None of this is true, even though, sorry, Lexi, it is all true, unfortunately.
I know. She also says before this, she's like, Rue's like, I've done a lot of evil. And Lexi, like, trying to be a good friend, she's like, you're not evil. Like, I don't think, like, what Rue... She's been narcissistic, sure, but like, and been an addict, but like, she's not evil.
But then of course Rue comes out with it and is like, no, I've been working with Nazis, which, like, okay, I mean, that's a fair counterpoint to you're not evil. Yeah, so Lexi doesn't really believe anything that's coming out of Rue's mouth, thinks she's doing drugs. Rue says fuck you, and then Lexi, this is really harsh, says no wonder your mom doesn't talk to you anymore, which of course sets Rue off. She storms out, tries to go visit Cassie, I'm sure, to just like complain about Lexi. And it seems like Cassie's not there, but indeed she is there and is being held at gunpoint. And this gun with a huge silencer on it is about to shoot Rue in the head right through the keyhole if Rue doesn't go away. It's a very tense scene. A lot of this whole episode is like building tension to a degree that like the viewer like almost cannot take. And of course, Cassie's inside, she's crying, she's on the phone with Nas while one of Nas's men is there threatening her. I don't know if this is true that she misses Nate, or if she just knew that this would be the way to try to get some sympathy. But yeah, she's crying and says, I miss Nate so much. It seems like Nas is at Nate's little like construction trailer for Sunsettlers and is like, all right, well, let's talk business, because your husband still hasn't given me my money, so now you have to. He's plucking the little guys out of like the model for Sunsettlers and putting them in a pile of death in the corner. So pretty heavy-handed allusion to what we're about to see later. Cassie is trying so hard to get her OnlyFans back.
It's like losing her mind at customer service related.
Yeah.
I dealt with these people when I did my time, and it's, you know, they think they can bend the rules just because they're hot, and you can't. You just can't.
You just can't. All right, I don't need to go on a soapbox about this, but yeah, you and I have both been people who have worked a decent amount of customer service. The person that is answering your phone call or speaking to you in person has the least amount of power to do the thing that you want to do. They are the one tasked with dealing with your dumbass, so they are not going to be the one to do anything. Yeah. And the meaner you are to them, the worse it's going to work out for you, okay?
Yeah, the amount of men that did not like that I was telling them no, it was...
They hate that.
They hated it. They hate it. Sorry.
They hate it. Cassie, this really pissed me off because I was like, I'm sorry. Did she not empty any of the money that had already been earned in OnlyFans into a bank account before? Did she, like, really just delete it without, like, I don't know, putting that money in a 401k or something? Like, I'm not one to talk. I'm pretty bad with money, but, like, you can't just put the money, empty the money out before you close the account.
But how much did she wire to me? Like, that's what we don't know, how much money she was giving away.
Right. Yeah, it's very unclear. This season makes it seem like these characters are making a lot of money on OnlyFans, but then, like, when push comes to shove, like, they don't have any in the moment. It's very confusing. Felix, babe.
Felix, we're fine. All right, we're gonna have a dog in my lap for a few. Okay.
That's fine. Everyone, this is Felix.
Felix, I know.
He's a big fan of Euphoria.
All right, anyways.
Anyway, so Cassie can't get her OnlyFans account back. Patty Lance is in, I guess, this producer's office. And they didn't address this in the after show. This guy has to be, like, someone who works on Euphoria in production, right?
I was wondering, or is that Brian Grazer? I was trying to look up who it was. They didn't have the IMDb updated.
I was trying to figure out who it was. It seemed very much like that they're just trying to get, like, some of the production staff in little cameos like they did with the casting director a couple episodes ago.
It's exactly who I thought it was. It's Brian Grazer, who works
is that?
with Ron Howard. He works with Ron Howard. That's like, he's a huge producer.
Wait, seriously?
Yes.
Does he?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Does he do anything on Euphoria, or was he just called in as, like, a joke cameo?
I think they just called him in. Yeah, I was like, there's no way this is Brian Grazer. Yeah, Brian Grazer worked on Apollo 13. He's worked on A Beautiful Mind. He's, like, one of the biggest producers in Hollywood, and they brought him in for Euphoria.
Wait, that's so funny. What the hell? Why? Yeah. Do you think he asked? Do you think he asked to be on the show? He was like, "Oh, I'd love a little cameo."
And maybe he was just, like, on the WB lot, and they're like, "Are you Tech Avail? Like, do you, you know?" But yeah, he's produced. Yeah, he's produced, like, many, many things that you've seen. He produced Hillbilly Elegy. He produced 70 episodes of Arrested Development. He's produced, like, that's why I was like, this can't be Brian Grazer, but it is.
It is. It's funny when you know someone's not an actor by, like, no cues other than, I don't know. I was just like, this shot looks like this is a guy in a documentary.
I was like, just get an actor. There's so many people in LA looking for work, but of course.
I mean, it's funny in a meta way because they say, he's the one that says, I like that you want to, like, push the envelope, Patty, with this, like, OnlyFans character arc on LA Nights, but do you have to use, like, the real OnlyFans person? Yeah. Which, of course, he says porn person, which I think is just so funny. But it is funny. He's like, just get an actor. And it's like, yeah, like, just get an actor. Why do we have Brian Grazer? That's so funny. But anyway, I love this. Patty folds immediately. Yeah. Like, all of this, I knew it. I knew it last week when she was giving Cassie this whole dramatic speech by, like, trying to mine Cassie for her story because she thought it was, like, gritty and important, and I knew it, and she was trying to manipulate the shit out of her, and then as soon as she's met with any resistance, she's like, you're right, I don't really care, get an actor, who the fuck cares?
Well, because they just want to get the show made.
Yeah, so Patty Lance, it turns out that the network loved Lexi's storyline, so everything's working out for Lexi. It feels like the message of this season is, like, if you do things the way that, I don't know, socially acceptable way of, like, go to college, then like work your way up at a job. Maybe it works out for you. Or maybe Lexi's going to be the one that fucking ends up dying. I have no idea. Yeah, so the network loved Lexi's storyline, but of course Patty butters her up with that, only to tell her, you need to be the one to tell your sister that we upended her entire life for absolutely no reason. So back at the other Hollywood office, Maddy is getting fired because her boss found out that she brought Cassie in to audition for LA Nights, which of course was a conflict of interest. She refers to her as a modern day madam. And yeah, Maddy gets fired and still through gritted teeth is like, thank you for the opportunity, because in this setting, she is 100% professional, but then heads right over to Cassie's where she basically
beat her
is like,
ass, beat her ass,
beat her ass, Maddy. I know. Where is BB when you need her
I know.
to scream, beat her ass, Maddy?
With her vape.
With her, well, yeah, vaping all over the hallway. Yeah, so Cassie is pitiful and is crying on the floor because, of course, Maddy then found out that Cassie had deleted her OnlyFans without saying a word to Maddy, which is insane. Yeah, so Maddy's pissed and says, rightly, I should never have let you back into my life. And, of course, Cassie is like, you don't mean that. It's like, bitch, she does.
This plot has been the same the whole season.
Season.
So it's just been Cassie crying and Maddy yelling. It's just like, this has been innate getting appendages torn off. It's like, okay.
Yes. I know.
Sure.
I know. This could have been an email. It could have been an email. Maddy ends up quoting Maya Angelou and is like, when people show you who they are, believe them, which is incredible advice. Yeah, she hits Cassie, which was honestly, I don't condone like violence, but this was actually really satisfying because you kind of just want to smack Cassie in general, and is like, I'm your fucking boss, bitch. Like, I'm not your manager. We're not partners in this. Like, you're gonna do every single fucking thing I say.
Correct.
If you really want to get this OnlyFans back. Cassie asks if she can get her page back. Maddy says no, but of course Maddy immediately has a plan, and she calls TMZ, and I think it's kind of funny. It's like, does TMZ really answer the phone like, hello, this is TMZ?
What I imagine is she probably has like, she knows a couple of the photographers that she can call. And she knows how to work. But I also was like, this is a good way to get back at her boss as well.
It is.
Like,
oh my God.
Twofold. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, the one thing standing between Maddy and her causing complete, absolute chaos was the fact that she was trying to keep her job working for Penzler. I did also just think it was funny. Like, it very much reminded me, do you remember the game Dream Phone?
Yeah.
So, like, in Dream Phone, you would, like, pick a card with a guy's phone number, you'd put it into the giant pink phone, and then, like, you hold it up to your ear and you'd be like, I know where he hangs out. He's not at the mall. And this whole conversation just reminded me of that because she was like, hey, I know where Dylan Reed's gonna be and who he's gonna be with. Do you want to know where?
We're going there now. But I do appreciate TMZ is currently on the government's ass in DC, and that's been most useful thing that they've ever done.
That's true, actually. And of course, Cassie is going out on a date with Dylan, who is wearing a hat that he has worn before that says romance in movies and sex on TV. I don't know. Of course he is, because he's this fucking guy.
Oh, yeah, no, I was like, I see this guy when I'm going to the AMC. I see this guy when I'm going to the Vista. I see this guy when I'm going to a screening of American Cinematheque at the Arrow. This is film bro coded. This is LA boy coded. He's just missing the 70s porn stash and like a little like gold chain and white socks with loafers. Unfortunately, I'm blind. I could open my window right now and there's 10 of them walking on my street.
Yep. Again, costuming, knocking it out of the park. Of course, they get photographed by the paparazzi, and Cassie gets a chance to say her trademark line, "It's just me, Cassie," while riding off into the sunset with Dylan Reed. Meanwhile, back at Cassie's apartment, Maddy is like cleaning up in order to like make a little sex den for them.
Yeah.
So she's like moving the kiddie pool. She's like pushing a cart of like, I hope not used, but probably used.
This looks like a water birth, like when someone gives a water birth at home.
It is. No, I mean, it's just a kiddie pool that someone buys on Amazon, so you don't know what they're using it for. It could be a home birth. It could be going in their backyard to cool their dog off. They could be filling it up with lube and making their coin. Who knows what a plastic kiddie pool gets up to once it leaves the Amazon warehouse. Anyway, so she's cleaning up Cassie's apartment. I think it's funny that she brings Dylan back to her apartment when, like, he's famous and rich and they could have gone to his place, but she's serving up vodka shots while Sex and Candy is playing in the background.
A song that it took me back to watching VH1 when I was 8 because I couldn't watch MTV, but they would be playing Sex and Candy on VH1.
Sex and Candy was one of those songs that it would just pop up in the wild out of nowhere, and you'd be like, I am in a department store with my mother, and I don't want to be hearing these words.
I don't even know what it is.
So yeah, of course, Sex and Candy is playing, and they're cuddling on like a beanbag chair, and Cassie's like, take a picture, and he's suspicious at first, but then she's like, you're gonna want to remember this because we're about to fuck. They, take pictures. She pays attention to what his phone's passcode is, so we're like, uh-oh, she's gonna break into that sweet phone. This sex scene was the worst thing one of the worst things I've had to experience this season. Cassie is really putting it on. This really made me laugh. I guess her plan here was to like completely exhaust him so much that he eventually left the room, and she keeps faking orgasms, and he shouts while underneath her, stop coming. Which I actually thought was really funny.
I know. He and Josh from Sex and the City are our sweet ophthalmologists. They went to the same school of not knowing when a woman is actually having an orgasm.
Yeah, no idea. I'll never know this because I'll never be in a man's body unless I get like Freaky Friday at some point. So I'll never know. But I will say, like, on the list of things to do if I got Freaky Friday, I would want to know if it's that not obvious. Like, if you really can't tell the difference.
I think, okay, here's what I think is happening is that their experience is so physical.
Yes.
That, like, they can't, that, like, they're so distracted by that, you assume that it's also happening. But I think some men can tell when it's happening. I will say, I did think my hypothesis was, I thought they were accidentally going to film a sex tape, was what I thought was going to happen here.
Oh, yeah, no, that is an avenue that they could have gone down for sure. Absolutely. She's got all the equipment. Yeah. No, we're just using sex as a distraction. But yeah, she wears this man out so much that he needs to go get a glass of water. And then while he's going to get a glass of water, he is smiling and chuckling to himself and is like, man, you might be the world's greatest fuck. And I love her from the bedroom going, no, you are. Meanwhile, she's breaking into his phone. He doesn't realize he's drinking a frozen finger smoothie. I don't have anything to say about this other than I hated it, and I hate everyone who works on Euphoria. Cassie smartly uses words that came out of Dylan's own mouth, because at this point we know he's also drunk, so I feel like the road she's going down is like, he maybe will think that he maybe just posted this while he was shit-faced. Right. Yeah, and says world's greatest fuck, tags Cassie, posts it on Instagram, sends it off into the world. This shot I did really love. Despite myself, anytime there's like girlies giggling together, I'm like, it's titillating to me. I can't help it. Of course, Maddy comes over while Dylan is still passed out.
I think this is like when they're Thelma and Louising here, which is what we wanted. Yes. This is what we're leading towards, yeah.
This is what we wanted the whole season, and we're only getting it in episode 7 now. But yeah, so Maddy reveals that, like, even though Dylan hasn't woken up and has no idea what's going on, like, his team is probably in full fucking crisis mode because it's been trending online for 7 hours that he posted that Cassie was a great fuck. We find out that her new OnlyFans that they just started, like, within a day already has over 100,000 subscribers. Seems like we're gonna be fine, sweetie. It's all gonna be okay. And then Maddy notices that there's a finger that's been defrosting in a cup in the sink. They have fully turned Cassie into, like, Karen from Mean Girls. Like, she used to be a somewhat serious person, and now she's saying things like, oh no, who moved that?
Again, it's very Tarantino, just like sort of the way that these women are not fully formed humans.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I'm remembering back to season 1, like the whole thing with McKay, how like the first time they have sex, he's like kind of it's weird, and he seems to think that Cassie wants to be sort of like abused because he had heard rumors about her. And then there's like actually like a pretty nuanced episode of like Cassie and her sexuality is a complicated thing because like she wants to be like loved and respected, and also she has sexuality, whatever. All that nuance is gone now, and she's just boobs being like, who left the finger in my sink? Tarantino, parentheses, derogatory. So Nas is clearly now holding Nate hostage at his funeral home coffin store, asks Nate how tall he is and is like, are you lying to me? And then measures him to confirm that he is indeed 6'5". Caroline has been boots on the ground research. 5'11" is not a real height.
No. But now I was like, do I need to start? I was like, wow, maybe I need to start taking measuring tapes at the start of my dates and just go, wait a second. Okay, now we can move on.
Not because you care about the height, because you care about honesty and whether this man has a realistic perception of his own self.
That says everything. If you can't be honest about your height, what else are you lying about?
Good point. So they measure him, and it turns out, of course, he's being measured for his own coffin that Nas is about to put him in.
I just was like, at this point, I was like, Jesus Christ, just kill this man already. Like,
I know.
We've watched him get beat up for like 4 episodes. Like, what? Like, who cares?
It's really funny to me that Jacob Elordi, since he started Euphoria, has been on a career trajectory that is probably going to ultimately lead to him getting an Oscar someday. And yet he's still having to do this, like, completely one-note ridiculous plot line.
I mean, Zoe Saldana is trapped in T-Mobile ads since she's won an Oscar, and Ariana DeBose has had the craziest B-list movie career since winning an Oscar. So it's not unfounded.
Yeah. If you, for some reason, haven't noticed that we're in a recession, your best indicator would be that legitimate actors and actresses are now doing ads for casino apps on your phone. And the first time I saw one, I was like, is that Lisa Kudrow advertising a casino app on my phone? I was like, surely this has been generated by AI. They used her likeness without her consent. And then I was like, no, that's actually Lisa Kudrow, Jennifer Aniston, Joel McHale, Jimmy Fallon. These people who you're like, do they not have enough money? Not anymore, because we're in a recession, babe. And so they're doing ads for casino apps.
Which I'm so glad we actually like segued into this, because I keep thinking about, so Brian Cox has been doing the McDonald's ads.
Yes.
There's a new one where he's like, if you want to yap with your friends for hours. I was like, you can't use yap. That's our word. That's our word, Brian Cox.
We own that, Brian Cox.
We copyrighted that word.
Go back to playing King Lear.
I know, but I was like, it's so funny. Every time it comes up, I was like, yap coming out of Brian Cox's mouth.
We're living in hell.
Right.
We're living in absolute hell. And speaking of hell, Nas is going to put Nate in a coffin, obviously, LOL. To finish out this half of the episode, we cut over to Ali's house where he and Rue are having pancakes, because that's their thing together, usually at the diner, but now they're homemade pancakes. And Ali is saying, I ain't got shit with the people I love, because Rue has finally revealed to him what is actually going on. Like I said, Rue is clearly nervous about what's going to happen, so she's trying to see which people in her life who love her will maybe, like, talk her out of it or help her through it, what have you. Lexi was a loss, so she heads to Ali and tells him what's really going on, and like he's kind of the perfect person to tell, because there's really nothing you could tell this man that would surprise him. Like, he's seen a lot. And of course he's like, I have a 12 gauge shotgun and I like want to help out, I want to like protect you, I don't want you going on this last trip to Lori's house. Like, now that you've told me this, like, I want you to stop and get out of this, even if it's backed by the DEA agents. And Rue's like, I don't have a choice. Like, Alamo made it very clear that, like, my mom is going to be in danger. Side note, I really thought Nika King was going to be in this episode, because that's what it said on IMDb. If they really only brought that actress back to say one line, I'm going to be so fucking mad, because she's so talented and was such like a huge part of the show for 2 seasons that it just feels very rude to me to not let her have like a paycheck and a moment really on this season. I know that she doesn't really fit in with the world because we've jumped so far, but that really pissed me off. I hope she's going to at least be in the next episode, because I think she's great, and it's
I don't
a
think
missed
she
opportunity.
is. I think she did a post, I think, on social media last week talking about how her family members were roasting her for only having one line on the show. So I think I'm going to assume she's not in next week's episode. I would have got hopes up.
I give that a very large thumbs down because that is
agree.
A stupid underuse of an incredible actress who really made the first 2 seasons something very grounded and special, and I just fuck that.
And as we know, season 3 has been very grounded. It has been the most grounded piece of art I have seen since, I don't know, Death of a Salesman.
Yeah. Season three of Euphoria, written by Eugene O'Neill. Anyway, so Rue thinks that she doesn't have a choice, and Ali is like, "Why don't you just tell the DEA that?" The DEA doesn't give a shit about her. The DEA told her to go through with this. They don't really care if she lives or dies. They haven't really promised her anything concrete, unfortunately. So she's telling him "Listen, this is it. This is the last moment. I just have to pretend to go into the safe, get whatever's in there. They're going to go to Mexico. They're going to come back. And by the morning, everybody will be in handcuffs and it will all be over because the DEA is going to come through." We know as the viewer, there's no way that it's going to work out that simply because otherwise, why would we even bother watching? Right. And this is where I was like, now I'm worried that Ali is going to die because we got his whole backstory at the top. We keep sort of circling this idea that everything that has a beginning has to have an end. And he wants to go with Rue to protect her. And I'm like, he's going to get involved and it's going to be bad. He's going to show up in the middle of a shootout and be the one who dies or something.
Kiss
which
the
would
day
really make
goodbye.
Me sad.
I texted Andy last night, if 30 people don't die by the end of this show, what was the point?
Yeah, seriously. There really wasn't one. Rue is revealing that she had this moment with the Joshua tree where she thinks that God spoke to her and then set the Joshua tree on fire. I'm waiting for somebody to give her the more logical explanation to this. And Ali calls her on her bullshit. She tells Ali what she thinks God said to her in that moment. And he's like, isn't that exactly what God said to Moses? And it's like, yeah, you heard it through your book on tape in the car, girl. And she was like, no, it's real. I was facing 25 to life and look at me now. Look at you where? You're still in a really bad situation with no actual concrete hope that this is going to work out. She tells Ali that after this is all done, she's headed back to this homestead in Texas to hang out with these people who she met when she was crossing the border before, and hands him the little 10 commandments. I feel like by the end of this season, we're going to see this exact 10 commandments thing discarded and covered in blood on the ground or something. They're really making a meal out of this specific object. And Ali is like, so you think this is the promised land? Okay. Interesting. Cut back to the Silver Slipper where Kitty is loading up on ice cream to prepare for a Brazilian butt lift.
Which I'm triggered by because recently on Real Housewives of Atlanta, one of the new housewives, Kay Michelle, her BBL leaked while she was at the I think the Academy of Country Music Awards, and talked about and she had to go to the hospital to the emergency room because there was silicone that was leaking.
I am all for people doing whatever they want to do to their own bodies to feel beautiful, but there is something about certain procedures that the body horror of it all I can't get past.
And they said this is people who go to Mexico, specifically to the BBL, it has one of the highest fatality rates, is this specific surgery. So do not do it's not good. It's the risk of silicone leaking into your bloodstream and going into sepsis is very high.
Listen, I don't think my butt is so great, but I can't imagine dying to have a better one, literally dying to have a better butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's loading up on ice cream because I guess they're going to pull fat out of somewhere else and put it in her ass. I hate this. I really hate it.
I know.
I really, really hate it. And meanwhile, all the girls are just remember, don't die because we love you. Kitty's definitely going to die. either via Brazilian butt lift or on the way there or back in that fake ass ambulance. This is actually like a very kind of sweet scene because, you know, the girls are all in the back, they're bonding.
Yeah.
They also tell Kitty, because Kitty says like Alamo is covering it, and they're like, you need to be clearer about that because he's not going to cover it. You're going to have to pay him back with interest if you end up living. But yeah, Rosalia tells her that they love her, and I fear this is Kitty's goodbye scene to all of them. Back at Ali's, Ali is asking Rue, like, do you ever worry that the fentanyl you smuggled killed people? We know that Rue knows that, in fact, it absolutely has. And Rue is asking, like, can I still be redeemed even though I did that? And Ali is like, you should really start from yourself. You should really start doing the inner work. And she's like, well, you know, working with the DEA to put these guys in prison has to be a start, right? And Ali is still like, please don't do this. And she's like, they threatened to do something to my mom, and if something happens to her, I will never, ever, ever be able to forgive myself. And like, Rue, there's no coming back from that for Rue. Like, there just isn't. And Ali's like, we will leave first thing in the morning. We will go pick her up and make sure she's safe. Just like, please don't do this. Promise me that you're not going to do this. And Rue does promise. Once again, Ali, this is the third time he says it, that the future is going to be bright. That is his thing that he keeps repeating again and again and again. Someone's about to die. Yeah, somebody's about to die. He's like, by the way, while we're talking about Moses, just to be clear, I don't know how far you are in the Old Testament, he doesn't make it to the Promised Land.
Yeah, I'm like, girl, have you not seen Prince of Egypt? Nights we prayed.
At the very least, have you not seen the Mariah Carey Whitney Houston performance of When You Believe, which is one of the most powerful things you can see
to ever happen, or the Rugrats Passover special? We got options.
Correct. Yeah, you should learn if you're so big on this guy Moses, learn what actually happened to him. But of course, that's cueing us that like Rue is probably not gonna reach the Promised Land.
And I hope so for Zendaya. I want her free. I want her and Colman Domingo free of this show.
I know.
All right, we are back at the fake ambulance that has been provided by Temu. Again, if you see this, cross your hope, don't get inside of it. And we are in the DEA situation room. They're briefing the team. I just always think of that picture of Hillary Clinton in the situation room, where it's like that, they use it as a meme all the time. So they're telling them they're going to be carrying 80 kilos of fentanyl. There are 2 bystanders in the car. So again, everyone in this ambulance is going to die, if we didn't already know. Yep. They're having, their death row Twinkie before they're shot by the DEA. Rue has left Ali and leaves with the second worst post-it that we've seen. I'm sorry, I can't. Don't hate me. We get a forgive me post-it left on on Ali's monitor from Rue. Forgive me. And we see that there's a whole long shot going up, weaving up the hills. We're setting up. This is where we get the very like Western showdown that we've been building up this entire season. Sam Levinson clearly watched The Searchers on 70mm and was like, I need to do my own Western. I watched The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and now this is my Western. I was explaining that to someone. They're like, wait, what? A Western? I was like, exactly. That we've somehow ended up in Western territory. Yes. She's in a pickup truck with G and is asking him to beat her up. She's like, it's my story for going into Lori. He's like, I'm not going to do that. It's going to knock you out. You know, Zendaya's look where we know she's about to do something stupid. She knocks her head on the thing to get herself a broken nose so that she can say that Alamo beat her up. And G's like, how did I get stuck with her? Just be back here by morning. And he's like, you're walking like your booty stink, which I thought was just like a very funny LOL line. Because I was like, she does. She looks like she's got to poop and like, she's been holding it in. And we get the voiceover. She's got to make Alamo think she's playing both sides here, which like we knew this was all happening. Chekhov's snake has arrived. This one's dead. And she shows up at Lori is immediately like, what happened to you? Lori's like the adult manifestation of the girl in the Cookie Monster PJ pants that you knew in high school.
Yes.
But now it's like kittens. So we've like grown to this pair from
You know
TJ
what's
Maxx.
coming back around again? Like people wearing little tails. Have you seen that?
Not yet. They haven't met me
Oh,
yet.
because Cookie Monster girl at my school also used to have like a tail, and I'm seeing this more often now recently, like people walking around with like little I don't know, like Daniel Boone like raccoon,
Yeah.
but it's like a
Sure.
tail, and I'm like, you know what, do whatever you want to make you happy, as long as you're not getting a BBL.
As long, you know what, your tail's not like hitting me, like I feel fine. Go,
Yeah, I don't want to touch
yeah,
it.
yeah. Let your tail hang out. Let your do your ears hang low? Does your tail wobble to and flow? Like, you know, tie it in a knot? Do you tie it in a bow? Go off. Also, I meant to say, the song playing over the driving montage is "Do It Again" by Steely Dan, and
Sure is.
like, yeah. Which I was, again, dad music that has not found me. I don't know that I've listened to a full Steely Dan song before.
I gotta tell you, dad music has found me in a big way this summer. Steely Dan's album "Can't Buy a Thrill," which was their first album, goes so hard. It goes so hard, and it's their first album. Anyway, I'm having, forget your hot girl summer. I'm having a Steely Dan summer. That's just me.
She's having a dad rock summer over there.
I am. Put a little bit of respect on dad rock. Not all of it. You have to be selective about it. I digress.
We cut back to Cassie, which honestly, this did make me laugh, because she's judging a man's penis and saying maybe it's good for anal. I give it a solid 3. I was like, God damn it! I do hate when the show makes me laugh, because this did make me. I know. And we get Naz's guys at the door. Throws Cassie through the glass coffee table that she has. Naz and Artur are there. They ask her, are you going to scream if I take this sock out of your mouth? And he tells her you have 72 hours to figure things out. She's like, you're not going to give me water. He's like, I'm talking about Nate.
She was like, why 72 hours? And he was like, that's how long people can survive without water. And she's like, huh?
As he said, I feel very numb to this plot line at this point. Kill one, kill both, kill me.
Just do it.
And we put Nate in a coffin underground, much like The Bride in Kill Bill Volume 2, where she does the thing where she like learns how to like cut through. He's yelling. We see there's a little hole just giving him just a tiny bit of air above ground where they're supposed to be building Sun Settlers. His brother is there looking for him. Of course, he misses his brother. Cassie, of course, was instructed by Nas to not tell anyone, but like, how is she gonna tell anyone when she's still tied up? Who's to say?
This made me so claustrophobic, like, and upset. Like, I really...
And Nate's brother drives off, missing his brother. It's the last they'll see each other, probably. Chekhov's snake has found us again. We'll come back there. We are now brought back full circle to when Rue was knocking on Cassie's door. This is what Artur is seeing. He's seeing the little sliver of Rue. This is too early to kill off Rue. We knew nothing was going to happen here. Right. And Nas is yelling at Cassie when they hear that Rue's at the door. If you scream, I'll cut your tits off. Which, ow.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, my whole body feels sore when I watch this show. Like, it gives me, I feel nauseous and my whole body hurts.
I grip my boobs a little more tightly when I'm like watching this show. Like, they're so precious. Like, don't cut them.
Don't take them, please.
Don't take them, please. Artur, we see again the shot of the silencer coming full circle. Does not kill Rue, obviously, and Nas falsely tells Cassie everything's gonna be all right. LOL. How far we've come from these two pure angels. You know, I don't even know who these girls are. Yeah,
remember when this was a show about high school?
Yeah. This picture that comes up on Maddy's phone, I was like, are we in the Dust Bowl? Like, where are we? This is like the black and Maddy's calling her. She's like, have you checked your... She's like, I don't know. I don't care. The voice of the audience. You've all lost your fucking minds. Like, you know, you're ranting about black cowboys and Nazis. It's like, again, this is all crazy, but also I hope she's using it. This is a time as a writer, here, use the crazy stuff being fed to you. If she doesn't get an Emmy, and again, she's just like, she's probably doing porn thanks to you, and hangs up. We are back, and now this has it's funny, I have some shots from the after show in a second, but this highlights my fear of snakes coming up through the toilet drain. Nate thinks someone has come here to save him. It's the snake coming through the drain.
It's horrible.
And we see the last image that Nate sees is a snake hissing at him. We are now at Far Right Central. They've built this giant bonfire that I just LOL'd at this in the after shows. Like, is he in costume or is this just what he's dressed like?
I had the same question. I was like, is he getting ready to do another scene, or is this just what he wears on a regular basis and they just went and found him and they were like, you're perfect.
Yeah, I was like, this could be his day to day. And Lori says, like, okay, well, Harley told me you don't have a phone. She's like, well, you know, I like got rid of it, whatever. They're shooting.
I was
guns at
also
the
like,
sky.
who is Harley?
Yeah, who I couldn't tell you.
I think Harley is the other Wayne. We've been calling them the Waynes. I think Harley's the other Wayne.
That's all
Whatever.
Wayne's World
Doesn't matter.
in our house. People who choose to live in the desert, there is a sinister energy there. Just in general, it's just so. If you've ever been to Joshua Tree, the energy out there, especially when the sun goes down, it's so sinister and weird. The houses are like miles and miles apart. It's not far from 29 Palms, which I found out when I went to Joshua Tree. I found a random bar for us to go to. It's the largest military base in the country, and so there's a lot of veterans who live out there. And we talked to one, and they're like, oh yeah, I just like shoot like my gun in my backyard. Like that's just sort of the vibe. It's like, it's not like you're coming across people. So it's very isolated and weird. There's also like a lot of people go there and they find like very like devil energy. So all I have to say is like us being in the desert, it's not good. Things aren't going to be good here. And we see that Rue has left her phone in the car and Jules is calling her. And I'd like to note the penultimate episode, Jules is not in other than this on the caller ID.
Nope. Jules is in a completely different show than the show that we have been watching. This was a 75-minute episode, which was 15 minutes longer than the previous episodes, which was extremely rude. And yeah, Jules is nowhere to be found other than her name on Rue's phone.
Nope. While G is talking to this woman, he's like, I want to make you my baby mama. And it's just like very funny. Cassie's like calling Maddy. Can I put you on speaker? But Cassie is telling Maddy, I need you to bring me $1 million, which means Maddy does not realize how much of the devil that she's gotten into bed with Alamo, because she thinks she's smarter, can outsmart him, but really he's outsmarting her. She shows up and Rosalia tells her, he's picked out this outfit for you. Trade 1,000 bad days for a good life. The most ominous line that she could leave her with before she sees Alamo. And Lori's like, okay, the big bad wolf got outsmarted. And they're like so proud of themselves. These rednecks outsmarted him. And Rue's like, yeah, totally, sure. And they start digging into, this is the only time that Wayne's two brain cells have decided to rub together and create some friction. Because they're like, so he thinks you're loyal to us. Because he's like, maybe you fucked over Alamo, like you fucked over us. So, and this is where Rue is sort of really getting her acting together. She's like, no, I lie all the time. I've gotten away with it. I've lied so much. No one believes me. And I love that Lori is sipping out of her giant Starbucks cup. It's not a Stanley.
I know.
Her emotional support water cup is over here in the corner.
Yeah.
Even evil people need their emotional support water bottle. You know, they also gotta stay hydrated. And they talk about how she brought in Faye just to wipe $5,000 off of her debt to say, like, girl, you're no better than us. And they talk about, like, she needs to get punished. We have this ominous image of this fire pit going off behind her, which they talked about in the after show. They were able to turn the fire off and on, which is like, people who like can do pyrotechnic stuff is like, they're, keep them over there. Don't get them too close to me. Like, I just don't bring these people in. Fire people, I don't know. That's a different frequency that I don't need to get involved with.
Yes, good for you. Please stay over there.
Yeah, and then Lori's like, well, we could do what Alamo does to his girls and sell her, and this is going to come back soon. Paralyze her tongue with Botox. We start to get more information on what is happening to these girls that Alamo's taking over the border, because as we've talked about, alluding to human trafficking. It's horrifying. And they're like, yeah, don't you want to be a rich guy's fuck doll? And she's
also,
like
the whole thing about paralyzing their tongue, like, this is probably giving the show more credit than I should, but it feels like a reference to, like, maybe, like, Shakespeare, like Titus Andronicus, or, like, the story of, like, Philomel, like, where these stories where, like, female characters get their agency taken away from them by their tongue getting cut out.
Maybe. Or we're giving this more meaning than it actually has, probably.
Always.
Rue says she's going to be standing by their side tomorrow. And then they say, well, maybe you're the one who needs to kill Alamo. And horrifying, Wayne goes up to like seal the oath and like sticks a knife in her hand. It's really gross, blood brother stuff. We are back at Alamo's hot tub. At Last by Etta James is playing over here because like now it's At Last. He's gotten Maddy in the tub. He's got her as one of his little China dolls. She tells him, I need your help. I'm going to play to your hand a little bit. Cassie's being extorted. I'm wearing your swimsuit. And he's like, I steer clear of Armenians. And I live near, I'm in a huge, like, not far from the Armenian population in LA. They have, like, a huge presence here. So it's, like, interesting to sort of see, like, I don't know. Again, the way that Sam Levinson is choosing to engage with these sort of different populations and, of course, doing nothing to thoughtfully engage with them. We're just going to stereotype them to hell.
Including women. Like, all women and people of color in this universe, especially in this season, you know, you can make the case like, oh, he's doing a Western, he's doing Tarantino, so everything's kind of like larger than life and like not really within the bounds of reality. And it's like, yeah, except you're choosing to make thoughtless caricatures. I don't know. It's
exhausting.
Yeah.
And he keeps telling Maddy to dip her toe in the water. She finally dips her toe a little bit. And he's like, you know, you were helping me make money. Now you're costing me money. She's like, yeah, but there's no one else that can do this. You're the only one. You get shit done.
Maddy really thinks that she has one over on Alamo. Like, he's got a soft spot for her. She's a good negotiator, whatever. And it's like, at the end of the day, if you need $1 million from him in order to get Cassie out of a jam, you're going to have to put on the bathing suit and get in the hot tub with him. Like,
girl, if you need a man, you're not in charge. And he starts to tell her that she's helping with the deal. She's like, oh, that's why she's been so overwhelmed. And Maddy starts to say, like, some of the stupidest stuff that come out of her mouth that's going to absolutely come back for Rue soon. And she's like, oh, yeah, she says she's working with Nazis. And he's like, what about Nazis? And she's like, I don't know, the DEA. When she said the DEA, I screamed. But he didn't really react to it. He's like, she's a real character. So either he thinks she's talking nonsense or he's underplaying it and there's going to be something come full circle about the DEA.
I think it's the second one. I think Alamo is very, very smart and knows not to flinch because he's already suspicious of Rue, and it does not work for him if he then makes Maddy suspicious of him. So I think he's just underplaying it.
Yeah, and then he starts messing with her toes because he's like, if you want to get the money that you need, I gotta get a little bit of you. So he gets her to come closer, and we can only assume what happened from there. It's horrifying. We then get this long montage. We're leading to the big showdown now with Alamo and Maddy, with Nas, Artur, and Cassie. Cassie has been going through it. We can tell this girl's been rode hard, put away wet. Maddy, we have this shot of her under the bucks that he's killed on the wall, and now we can assume she's about to be another one of a human buck, basically representing.
Yeah, and she's wearing this like tiny little like, what is it, like Mary?
Yeah, Virgin Mary.
Is that supposed to Virgin Mary dress? Like, who Lord knows where that dress came from.
And we see Alamo's getting his golden gun ready with the Indian statue. He's the cowboys and Indians. We're really heavy-handed with the Western metaphor here. Mm-hmm. And Maddy thanks him again, thinking she has the upper hand. We're back at white supremacy headquarters. Faye, in this moment, I was like, if there is a God, please let Faye be getting the ick right now. Please let us be watching Faye get the ick in real time. I would love for her to be getting the ick.
It's about fucking time, Faye.
I know. If it wasn't the swastika tattoo he put on her lower back, it's him messing with her friend. We see that Rue is trying to duct tape what happened to her hand over there with a lot of pain happening, obviously. We get kind of at sundown. We're at Sun Settlers, which is, a parallel to Western stuff. Mm-hmm. And he says to her before we make the deal, he's like, you sure she's worth it? She's like, this one's special. And he's like, all right, it's your deal. Sort of like he said to Rue, making it seem like it's their choice to be going through with it when really he's like puppeteering everything that's happening here.
I did have a moment where I was like, I wonder why Maddy doesn't just sort of cut and run and like let Cassie dig her own grave. I get now, like, Maddy's involved with it because, like, it's probably too late to turn back, but there was part of me that's like, are you doing this out of loyalty to Cassie, or are you doing this because Cassie is indeed, like a cash cow. Wouldn't it just make more sense to just like cut your losses and like focus on the other girls at Silver Slipper? I also wondered in this moment, like, why is Alamo agreeing to do this? Is he bored?
No, because he knows he gets something out of it. We know, like, as we're about to see, he's going to get something out of it. So we start to see the long shot of Maddy walking up with a big suitcase that Alamo, we had assumed put $1 million inside of it. We see the shot of reminding us that Nate's underground here. Alamo is clacking his rings. It's all very cinematic. Every shot, it's just, this scene takes like 15 minutes of the episode. She puts the bag down. Nas is walking up with Cassie, she looks like she's been left at the club at 3 a.m. and she like was blackout drunk puking in the bathroom. And it's like, girl, been there. And they're about to like exchange. He tells her to go get the suitcase, and Alamo's prepping for whatever is about to happen. And Nas opens the suitcase. We can't see what's inside at this point. Alamo shoots Nas, and Artur looks like he's about to shoot him back. And Alamo's like, you better be a good shot. And we see, like, we hear and see the noises of Nas gurgling from being shot in the background, and Artur is really weighing his choice. He drops the gun, and they look over Nas. Nas looks up, sort of pleading for his life with Alamo. Alamo shows, we get the shot underneath showing he's got the upper hand here. We have the POV from Nas, and he shoots him. Rest in peace, Nas.
It is sort of interesting how like that character had so much power, especially over Nate, and was so scary, and like Alamo comes in and just shoots him, and like that's it.
In like 5 minutes or less. Yeah, it was Murder She Wrote. We are back in the basement of, Faye's Standards and in Lori's house. And he's asking her, he's like, well, whose side are you on? Because he's like, she's your, she's saying, oh, she's my friend. And then she says, like, what I thought was the funniest line reading. She's like, yours, which is like,
yeah, because he was like, yeah. I know. And like said in a way where like I am asked this question constantly by this man, whose side are you on? And I have to just be like, yours.
Who's got the biggest dick you've ever seen? Yours.
You do.
Yeah. All right. And then he tells her, it's real simple, this whole thing. It's black and white, which I was like, again, sorry. I didn't want to, we're not showing a swastika on this show. This is the puppy. Again, if your man's Roman Empire or Nazis, run. I hate to tell you, that's if there's anything you learn, if your man's Roman Empire or the Nazis, run in the opposite direction and do not look back.
Yeah, he's saying this with so much like reverence and admiration of like, what the Nazis did? They made them raise puppies and then kill them. Like, what? Why do you think that's cool?
Why do you think this is a bedtime story I want to hear? Telling her this story essentially to say that the SS officers would get these puppies at the train and then they'd cut their heads off at the end. And she's like, you realize that's fucking sick, right? He's like, well, here's why I'm telling you the stories. You're going to have to kill Rue. And we cut to him upstairs. Rue's been locked up in this room. Big day tomorrow. She doesn't know, like, okay, he's planning on killing her. She's locked up in this room. No way out. Oh boy. So Cassie is yelling down there. We think, she's going to get Nate out alive. Artur, he's got many hats, which is also construction. He's also Bob the Builder. He's now excavating Nate out from underneath them. We see what's in the bag, which I think is...
cigarettes?
It's a bunch of cigarettes. It's not $1 million. And she was like, I didn't know you'd do this for free. He's like, you're $1 million in the hole now. It's 20% of all future earnings.
What's crazy about this is like, you almost breathe a sigh of relief, even though it's so violent. You're like, Nas is dead. This issue is over. And it's like, no, the way this works is that Alamo has now decided to pick up this debt as if he's the bank now and it's been transferred between banks. I solved your problem, but it wasn't for free. Like, now you have to pay me $1 million with interest.
It's not good. And he is like letting Maddy know, you've been my little bird in the cage. You're my little canary. About time your ass wised up and realize I'm the one in power here. You've got nothing. Maddy realizes, oh fuck, how far she's gone here. She should have listened to Rue.
Yeah.
Nate's coffin comes out of the ground. And Cassie is pleading for this man that she was married to again for 2 weeks.
What I want to know here is like, what are the other people who went to high school with these people thinking is going on? Because clearly if they are not living under a rock, they are aware that the two of them got married, because I'm sure it was all over social media.
Instagram, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then they have to be aware that Cassie is now an OnlyFans star and living in LA, and they don't see Nate anywhere. So like, I'm just thinking about like BB or somebody else, like Kat, somebody else they went to high school with, who's like, what the fuck is going on with these two?
No, this is like who I'm locked in from high school. That like I haven't talked to them in 12 years, but I'm aware. I'm aware of everything happening.
Yeah.
I'm following the updates. I am locked in on Facebook in a way that I should never be locked in on Facebook, but I'm aware of what's going on, and I'm active. So if I'm Barbie Ferreira, I'm getting notifications on my phone.
Yeah, exactly.
News alerts. I've got Google alerts set up for each of their names, and I'm like getting updated in my inbox. And she's going to be getting this obituary soon, because as we see, they're wailing, they're horrified as Nate, I'm sorry, this is the only image I have of this. He was killed by this snake, which then in the after show, Jacob Elordi's like, that's a cool way to go. And they tell us about, so we have like a Barbie doll in the concept that they've used of Jacob Elordi with the shot of Jacob, and he's like talking a lot about this in the after show. Sam Levinson, one of our greatest minds, saying, the only thing scarier than being trapped in a coffin is being trapped in a coffin with a rattlesnake.
The way this man comes off in interviews is very bad. He thinks that he comes off like some sort of like mastermind of film, but he actually comes off like a total fucking freak.
No, he comes off like Paul Dano and There'll Be Blood.
Yes.
And we find out the snake is actually a boa constrictor, because he's like, well, obviously we can't put a rattlesnake in there, so they put a boa constrictor in there. He wanted to, but boa constrictor with a little rattle on there. And we find out you manage the snake, you don't train the snake. And then the editor's like, well, obviously we're capitalizing on that phobia of snakes. And we find out that it's a sleepy snake.
That editor jerks off to his own edits.
He and Sam Levinson are high-fiving each other every week.
Correct.
Jacob is like, oh, he's a sleepy little snake, this guy. I had to,
yeah, apparently he was a very cuddly snake who just wanted to, like, curl up with Jacob Elordi. I mean, listen.
Same, brother.
Exactly.
I'm in envious position.
I
know what snake I want to be cuddling up with, and it's Jacob's.
That snake has the job that a million girls would kill for. Like, I've never been so jealous of a snake in my life.
I know. Maddy's horrified by what her decision making has led us to. Alamo's watching from beyond. He's like, yeah, this is what happens, girl. And Rue hears keys jingling. She's assuming it's Wayne coming to kill her. But we think it's our girl, Faye, waking up. She's out of her Nazi coma. She's letting Rue out. She's like, let's go. Let's get the money. Rue's like, but I think we need to wait. And she's like, well, Wayne's going to kill you, so we got to do it right now. They're tiptoeing down to the basement. She sees the tattoo, seeing how far deep that her girl Faye has gone. And Rue gets out the 3D printed key, not working. So then Faye's got this huge backbone now. So she walks over, takes Wayne's keys. Rue's horrified by the whole situation. They get the keys, they open it up, and instead of a pile of money, we see a stack of IDs, including Angel's, which we can now assume we're getting the information that Alamo has been trafficking these girls, because there's a huge stack of photos and IDs. And Faye's freaking out because there's no money. She thought it was her way out. And she's like, well, okay, now she's panicking because there's no money for them to leave. She's like, well, put it all back. And Rue's like, come on, listen to me. You can come with me. She's like, you lied to me. Everyone lies to me. Faye's having this like sort of conscious that everyone takes advantage of her. And they're talking loud enough it's going to wake up Wayne. And Rue's like, come on, just be chill. Alamo's going to pay you. And is like doing everything she can to plead to her to stop. She's like, I'm your friend. I didn't lie. She screams. And we're cut to, we hear the Go Down Moses song playing, and then we get the most bone-chilling thing I've seen yet on the season finale of Euphoria. If this is not the series finale, I will be taking Alamo's gun, that stage gun, and I will be shooting it to the sky in response.
Yeah, this better be the series finale. I don't have another one of these in me.
I can't.
I don't.
I can't. You know what? This show has made me miss All's Fair in a way that I've romanticized All's Fair in a way that, like, I didn't know that was possible. I am actively looking forward to season 2 of All's Fair.
I agree.
May see the next season of Euphoria not find me or Zendaya or Colman Domingo or Alexa.
You know what I want? You can do another season of Euphoria if you want. Put it on a streaming platform that nobody watches and that there's a paywall, because I will put it on like fucking Tubi or something. Like get it out of my face. I don't want to know it. I don't know her. I'm sorry to this man. I don't know her.
Sorry to this man. I don't know her. But that takes us to the end of the penultimate episode of Euphoria. If this is 80 minutes, I am afraid that we're going to get the Zack Snyder cut of Euphoria next week, and it's going to be 3 hours long.
It was very viscerally upsetting in a lot of ways. Again, like that editor who is sort of like jizzing at his own, like, obviously it's really upsetting to be in a claustrophobic box with a snake, so we're going to take advantage of that and really capitalize on it. That, to me, I was like, that tells me everything I need to know, because I spent the whole episode feeling uncomfortable and upset, and only to find out that one of the people responsible for it was like, that's what I wanted.
And that's why Felix just started barking.
Yes, Felix is upset too.
Agrees. And I was going to say, that man is not getting swiped right on Hinge. I'm sure when he was on Hinge, he's probably on there and not getting swiped right on.
No.
So we thank you all for joining us for the hellscape that was the penultimate episode of Euphoria. Let's hold hands together. We're going to make it through the end of this season by hook or by crook. Thank you so much, Anne, for joining us. Whew, I'm going to need a lap around the block after this. But we have more Sex and the City recaps that are much more enjoyable with wonderful, fabulous guests that are awaiting you in the near future. So please, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you for the final episode of Euphoria next week. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.